Hello guys, welcome to all of you in the data mindset. My name is Amit and I'm your host for this session. In previous classes we have discussed about data types in the Python and we have discussed about list in the last class. Today we are going to continue with that discussions and we will again talk about some more features of the list and then we will move into the next data type. So without wasting much time, let's go and start it. Okay. So this is our Jupyter notebook environment and where we discussed about the list, right? So let's talk about some more features of the list since we understand it, what is the list and how the features of the list is working. So yesterday we talked about what is the list. So again I'm repeating my statement. The list is one of a data type in a Python which can contains heterogeneous elements which follow the indexing to store the elements, and it is also a we can say it is also a mutable data types. I'm repeating my statement again. It's a one of the data type in the Python that can hold heterogeneous elements. It follow the order of index and it is a mutable data type. All right. Now going back and we talk about some more features of this list. So let me execute this piece of the code once again. So I'm executing the piece of the code which is in the cell number 58. And since we talk about indexing, so we were discussing about how to use indexing. To use the index in the Python, we can write it the name of the variable followed by a square bracket and put the value of index. So right now we are doing the negative order index which is -1, and from this index you will get the last element of the list. So negative indexing, when we try to read the data from right to left, so negative index start with -1, -2, -3, -4 and so on. So the index value for the Python will be negative index. When we follow the negative index it will be -1. The index value for the Java, if you follow the negative indexing, then it is -2, 10, -3, 9, -4, 8, -5, 6, -6 and 2, -7, right? If you follow the index from left to right, that means we are trying to read the data from left to right. In that case, my indexing will be start from 0. So the index value of 2 will be 0, index value of 6 will be 1, index value of 8 will be 2, index value of 9 will be 3 and so on, right? So these are the things I think we are clear about it. Now we talk about some more concepts in terms of using the index. So yesterday we talked about if you are using one index value, we try to fetch out one element from this list. But if you have to extract the multiple elements from the list, what we can do is we can follow this syntax. So syntax is a, which is nothing but the variable of list followed by square bracket, then start with, then it is going to start followed by colon, stop followed by colon, step. So that means the first value which is going to start it, the value which is going to stop, and the steps which you are going to take it. So a step is nothing but if you are trying to read the value from one by one. So that means if you are reading the values one by one, here if you are reading 2, if you are reading 6, if you are reading 8, if you are reading 9 and 10 and so on. But let's say if we want to read 2 but we do not want to read 6 but we want to read 8. So that means if the alternative value is supposed to be read, then what is supposed to be the step value? In that case we are skipping the one step so that my step will be 1 plus 1 which is 2. So in this case what we can write it, so let's say we wanted to get the alternative data from this list. Okay, so in that case what we can do is we can simply write a and then we can write it 0, which is my first indexing value of element, and which is nothing but start. Stop is if we follow the length of a, right? So that means the last value which is going to do it, and then step. So here you can see what you are getting. You will get 2, 8, 10 and Python. So which is nothing but alternative elements of this list, 2, 8, 10 and Python, right? So this is how you can get the alternative values. So let's say if you want to get the every third value of this list, so then you need to add one more value into this step, and now what you are getting every third value. So which is like first value is 2. Okay, now you are skipping two values. So two value which is 6 and 8 you are skipping. So after 2 it is going to read 9, and after 9 it is going to skip 10, and Java it is going to read Python. So the value will be 2, 9 and Python, right? So this is how you can do this, like if you have to read the data into alternative way, or maybe one step, or maybe after removing the 2 steps, maybe removing the 3 steps, and so on. Alright, so now come back over here and we will talk about some more functionality of the list. So I'm just writing functionality of the list. Okay, and how you can get those functionality? You simply have to do it by putting the name of the list, which is nothing but A, and then follow by dot and follow by tab. A dot press tab. So you can get all this functionality related to list. So let's say if I wanted to extend my list, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm using a dot extend, and now what I'm trying to do is a dot extend, and the parameter inside here is iterable object. So I'm just putting my iterable object is a list. So let's say this time what I'm going to put it, I'm going to extend my list by 100, 200 and 300. So that means I'm going to extend my list. So that means whatever the value is there, I'm going to add 100, 200 and 300 on top of it. And now I would like to see my list once again how it looks like. So you can able to see that my value has been extended, which is by 100, 200 and 300, and the new list looks like this one. Okay, so let's say I use again some another functionality. So again I am going to put a press tab, and here you can say we have a multiple options. So let's say I would like to remove some elements from it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just using a dot remove, and now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to remove the values. So let's say I have to remove, here it is Java, and then I'm going to use print a, and you can see that my value has been removed from here. Now again I do use it a dot remove, and then this time I'm removing Python from here, and now again I'm putting print a. So now my data will be looks like it is going to remove this string from the list. So let's say this is my new list, which is nothing but value of integers. So what I'm trying to do is let's say I would like to sort, because it looks like it's already sorted. So let's say I would like to do it a dot press tab. Just a moment. Yeah. So here I am going to use the function called sort, since it is already sorted, but I'm still using it just to show you how it works. Okay, so it is not given any output, but what you can do is if you just write it down, if you just let's say you are going to store in a variable called b, and then run this code and try to print b, right? So in this case what you will get? None. But why this output? Because we are expecting a dot sort is supposed to give me this output. Since I know that is the data is already sorted, but still we wanted to show that. So what you can do is you can simply put print, right? And then what you can do is run this code. Still you are getting same. Now what is a solution on it? Look at here. If you go to the sort functions, what it is going to return? It is showing that sort the list in ascending order or the ascending order and return none. Okay, so it means the list is already getting sorted, right? If you use a dot sort, and to see that, what you need to do is simply what you need to do is print a, and here you can get it, the list is already getting sorted. Okay, now come back over here. If I'm using a dot, let's say a dot press tab, it may be taking some time. Yeah, so this time I'm using reverse, and look at this code, look at this, the functionality. Reverse is in place, built-in function and method, a dot reverse. Okay, so what it does, right? So what we are trying to do is, if you run this piece of the code, what you are supposed to do it, if you do it a dot reverse and then you print a, right? So you can see that is the value has been reversed. Earlier it was in ascending order and now it is in descending order, correct? So here I saw you few of the functionality of the list. Okay, and you can try some more functionality. Okay, and let me know if you have any challenges. All right, so I think we have covered we have covered some functionality over here of the list. So let us go once again and see some new data types of the Python. Okay, so here we are going to do that, and we covered about list. Today we are going to talk about tuple. Okay, so now we'll talk about tuple. Come back over here and we will see what is a tuple. Okay, to understand the tuple, we can say that if you are going to store the elements inside the parenthesis, previous case it was you are going to store the elements inside the square bracket. This time what you are going to do, that you are going to store the elements inside the parenthesis, and Python will consider that this is a tuple. So let's say I'm going to store 1, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10. Okay, and we are going to store inside this parenthesis, and now I am storing this into a variable called a1. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print a1 and taking the type of a1. So here you can get it, the value which is stored in a1 is nothing but looks like this one, and the type of a1 is tuple. All right, so as of now what you can say, that tuple is one of the data type that can store the any data types elements. Now so far we have just put a integer over here. Let me show you some more example. So again I'm creating a variable called a2, and inside this a2 I'm creating a tuple. So let's say I'm creating 2, 3, 5, 9, sorry 10, 9, 8, 9. Let's say I'm creating welcome, and I'm creating a string. Now I'm putting float. Now I am putting another value called float. So you can say that this is a tuple, and I'm going to take the type of A2. Okay, and here you will get the values is 2, 3, 5, 10, 8, 9, welcome, Amit, 10.5, 20.5, and tuple. Alright, so you can say that a tuple is a data type in a Python which can store heterogeneous element, right? Okay, so now we'll talk about what are the features associated with tuple. Okay, so let us go and test out, is tuple mutable data type? So again, we understand it. Mutable means if the elements inside this data type is changeable or not. That means if the value we can make changes. So let's say if the value is 10.5, so if we want to change this values. So let's say if I want to remove 10.5 and then instead of 10.5 I would like to place 100. So can we able to do that? That means if the object is editable, so we can say the data is mutable. Is the tuple editable? Okay, so to do that and to test it, what you can do is you just put the A2, which is the tuple, and then put dot and press tab, and now you can say that in this tuple you cannot get any functionality which is related to add, insert, append, okay, remove, pop. So these are the functionality you cannot able to see that. So that you can get it, because you cannot make any changes on top of it. Neither you can add, neither you can remove it. So from this features we can understand that is the tuple is immutable. Okay, so we can say that tuple is immutable data type, right? Because we cannot make any changes inside it, right? So let's say we try to change it, and again how we can try it. So let's say I try it and I would like to change the zero indexing value, which is nothing but 2, suppose to make it 100, right? And then I would like to print A2. So because I thought it can be able to change it, and I try, and now you can get an error. All right, you can get an error. Just a moment. Why it is taking some time? Yeah. All right. So you are getting an error, and it is saying that tuple object does not support item assignment. So that means we cannot make any changes inside this tuple because it's a immutable data type. Now the question is the tuple follow indexing? The answer is yes. Tuple follow index, because if you just put A2 dot press tab, so you can get only two functions, which is index and count. In the latest version of Python you can get more than 2 functions. Please try it out and let me know if you got more than 2 functions. But as of now you can say that is in my versions I can able to see that only 2 functions, which is nothing but count and index. So you can say that the index index feature, or you can say index behavior, is getting captured in the tuple. So how to use index? Again come back over. So we can use the name of variable followed by square bracket, and now I put the index value. So let's say I put 2. So here if I execute this piece of the code, what I'm getting 5. And let me go back to here. So we can say that is this is 0 index positions, this is 1 index position, and this is 2 index positions. So at the second index positions, what we are getting 5, which is nothing but a elements of the tuple, right? Again let me do it. A square bracket and -1. So it will give me the last element of this. Sorry, my bad. It may be some other. So this is A2, and here we are getting 20.5, which is nothing but the last element of my tuple, right? Similarly, you can try it over here. If you have to extract the multiple element from here, you can use slicing. Okay, so this feature, if you have to extract the multiple element from any input or any data types, so what we can use is we can use slicing. So how we can use the slicing? By using start, stop, okay, features, right? So let's say I have to get it from first value to fifth indexing value, but as of now it is not goes to fifth indexing value. It will goes to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not going to the value at fifth indexing position. It is going to stop at fourth indexing position itself. So it will give me 0, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 indexing values output, right? And which is 2, 3, 5, 10 and 8, right? And this behavior we call it slicing. Okay, so that means the portion of the element you are cutting from the input, right? So that is nothing but slicing, right? So hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you once again, and let's connect for the next class or next sessions where we talk about some more features of the tuple, and we will do some more practice session. Thank you once again.